Yeah, we're gonna call this meeting to order, Crook County Wolf Committee at 4 o'clock on July 24, 2026. We're gonna go around the room and just go through names and so everybody can introduce themselves. We'll start on our left.
Okay, Linda Stell. I think I don't know most of you. And I live out at Powell Butte.
Scott Dugan, OSU Extension Livestock Agent.
Greg Jackal, I'm the district wildlife biologist here for Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife in Prineville.
John Dayer, I serve on the board of directors of the Wolf Compensation Committee.
Dave Condren, Bellevue,
Are you my neighbor?
pretty much, just north of you,
And also a director.
just north,
Oh,
over by Weibel,
oh, well,
the south side of it.
yeah.
Susie Hermrick, I'm a rancher in Paulina and I'm also a Crook County Commissioner.
Julie Thompson.
And I don't know if there's anybody else online. Just us. Yep, okay. So we'll start the meeting by reviewing the last meeting minutes, which was from February 26th. Everybody in attendance was Scott Dugan, Brianna Bedortha, Greg Jackal, Susie Hemrick. I think it was Aaron and somebody from the Crook County landfill. And you had myself, Hunter Newhart, Seth Crawford, John Deller, Linda Stell, David Condren, and Elena Huffman.
Was Jackie Davis, was you?
Was it Jackie Davis? I'll change that. Thank you. Hunter Newhart called the meeting to order at 4 p.m. Agenda adjustments. Hunter notes minimal adjustments to dates for grant requirements. Approval of previous minutes. Elena Huffman read the previous minutes. Motion to approve was presented by John Deller, seconded by Seth Crawford. Motion passed unanimously. Local ODFW updates were by Greg Jackal. Funding expected to be highly competitive this year. State currently has approximately 1.2 million available, half allocated to depredation, half to mitigation. Wolf population and depredation claims are increasing. The state anticipates approximately 4.3 million in producer requests. 2025 depredation loss applications. Total application receives was 4, 3 killed and 1 injured. The discussion was about the multiplier guidance. Programs allow up to 5x multiplier of animal value, count to 25,000. The Deschutes County recommendation requests higher amounts with expectation of partial funding. The committee input was Dave Condren. These multipliers should apply only to registered animals. Hunter Newhart considered higher multipliers for heifers and cows versus steers. Age and breeding potential should factor in. General discussion and guidelines suggested 2x for steers, 2.5 for heifers, 3x to 5x reserved for proven breeding cows and bulls. If animal is sold, deduct sale income. Committee acknowledged these decisions would guide future applications, not just current cases. Then we went through application reviews. The McCormick's, they lost a 500-pound old heifer. Sale value is around $1,925. Requested amount was $2,887.50. Stafford's had a 400-pound registered heifer, which the report market value was $6,000 because it was registered. McCormick's requested $30,000.
On the back.
It is on the back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Went through Bruce Hatfield hides. They had a 350-pound steer. Market value was about $1,312.50. Requested amount was $2,625. They had another animal that was lost, which was a 500-pound heifer. Approximate value was $2,200. Requested amount was $6,031.25. Motion to request the following amounts. McCormick was $2,887.50. Stafford $15,000. Hatfield hides $2,625. $6,031.25. Motion was by John Deller, seconded by David Condren, and the results passed unanimously. Move on to mitigation. McCormick's requested $30,000 for extra personnel. box lights, thermal optics, an additional ATV, cold weather gear. Committee agreed 30,000 was acceptable. Staffers requested 20,000 for extra personnel, deterrents such as fox lights, etc. Committee also agrees with that 20,000. Olive Ridge requested 17,500 for extra personnel. Committee agrees to that 17,500. Krebs requested 10,250 for 8 rolls of electric fence and payment for 2 hours a day for 220 days while in Prineville. Committee agrees to that 10,250. Bonneview Ranch requests 20,000 for ranch riders and game cameras. Committee agrees to that 20,000. Motion was made by David Condren to approve the application as stands for non-lethal preventative techniques. John Deller seconds and motion passes unanimously. Hunter New Hart talks about making Crook County park disposal fee waiver cards accessible through ODFW and OSU Extension Office. Cards are for ranchers who have to remove carcasses in known wolf activity areas. Then a motion was made by John Deller to adjourn, seconded by David Condren. Meeting ended at 6:55. Anybody have any comments? Discussion?
When you read who was present, was David in your list of present? Didn't hear that.
David?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah.
One question I would have is the minutes there, you read that, on the multiplier,
Mm-hmm.
that it was only, that we agreed it was only for the registered cattle.
No, the multiplier was for, let's see,
There was a motion on that, just wanted to clarify that.
okay, so the discussion was a 5x multiplier was what we were able to do up to 25,000. The general discussion was 2x for steers, 2.5x for heifers, 3x to 5x for reserve for proven breeding cows or bulls if animal is sold, and then deducted by selling income.
Oh, okay,
Was it reserve or registered?
On here, we wrote reserve, but it should be registered.
Yeah, it should be
It
registered.
should be.
yeah. To put that much multiplier on
Mhm. Yeah.
the animal.
And actually, maybe should, well, it's 2x for steers, 2.5x for heifers, 3x to 5x, not just for registered, because we had bulls in our own category as well. So I'll do registered, reserve for registered and or proven. Does it sound better? 2x for steers, 2.5x for heifers, 3 to 5x reserved and or registered, reserved or registered and or proven breeding cows and bulls. That way we're covering bulls, registered, all of it.
I think that sounds good.
Anything else?
Motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Everybody in favor, say aye. Aye. Everybody against? Motion passes. Thank you. Well, Greg, I appreciate you making it down.
Yeah.
You're okay, if you want to talk a little bit about some of the updates.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty quick. I mean, I can give a quick wolf update. Since that last meeting, there hasn't been a ton of activity. We've had, I think Hunter was asking, how many depredations do we have? And I think there has been potentially a couple out in that South County area, Bear Creek. Not sure if they turned them in. I don't think they turned in anything, Hunter. I don't know if they were actually
I haven't received that.
animals that were injured, but we did document a couple instances of livestock being impacted by wolves. And from what we know out there, there's a couple wolves running around or ranging around, probably from the south to Deschutes County into Crook County. And so those are, as we know, still out there. Summertime kind of slows things down. I think cattle disperse, wildlife has their calves and fawns, and so we don't see a lot of conflict, knock on wood, in the summertime. But we have recently, Wildlife Services in Wheeler County, which is adjacent to us, just talked to some producers in the northern part of the Ochoco unit, and they've got pups on a camera. So we've got, from what we have, again, this is just what we know. what we know is documented reproduction for the first time in the Ochoco National Forest. So the Ochoco unit, and so not to say that that hasn't happened before, may have happened and we don't know about it. But we do know about it now, so trail camera photos were shared with Wildlife Services, which then shared it with us. We've got cameras up on the forest, we don't check them all the time, but I'm sure we probably got those animals on our cameras as well. And so it just, it kind of, it allows us to now to know that's going on, so. Not sure how many of these pups will survive, you know, and be recruited into that population, but we're monitoring. So we've also, this week we had a meeting with the National Forest, so the Ochoco National Forest, and it wasn't because of the wolf pup thing, it was just kind of a annual thing that we do. And so we're kind of coordinating with the US Forest Service where we put cameras, so we're not duplicating efforts. And so had a conversation with them, Jacob Young, who's their range specialist, was at that meeting. And so talking with him, he actually sent out an email to producers that are utilizing some of the adjacent pastures and just let them know, you know, again, not to be alarmed, but we have wolf activity in your allotments, just be aware. Because the sharing of information is good. Sometimes people think that we know everything and we don't. So it's nice to people that are out on the ground, if they can let us know, is very helpful. And I'm very grateful that the private landowner reached out to Wildlife Services and let them know, because they didn't have to do that. So I think that's helpful that we know that information. Because this is just gonna be the new norm. I mean, we're gonna start seeing more and more wolves. We've had them transient through Crook County, and I think now we're starting to see them, breed successfully, and we'll just have to work with that, so.
And you're talking, the area you just talked about is south and east, Deschutes County?
So the first area I was talking about with kind of just dispersing wolves was south and east, Crook County and up against Deschutes County to our south. Where we have reproduction is kind of east of here, basically north Crook County into Wheeler County, southern Wheeler County. And so there are wolves in the other portion of Wheeler County. I'm not exactly sure where those are, but we've got wolves kind of all around Crook County, right? So we've got Grant County has wolves. Deschutes County actually has a fair amount of wolves. And so we're just they're starting to fill in this open space here, so.
So the reproduction is basically north of Big Summit.
Yeah, north of.
Area
Sure.
east.
Yeah.
So what about wildfire? What does wildfire do to the population?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think where these are, all wildlife, I was looking at Facebook posts yesterday of people saying, you know, be careful, wildlife are getting dispersed, and it's definitely for sure for everything from deer and elk to bears and cougars to wolves. And so definitely for the next few months, animals are going to be dispersing, but from these photos, these wolves are up and mobile, right? And so they can follow mom and dad now, and they likely will be moving. It's not like, so, you know, and Aaron knows way more about this than me, but Aaron Botter, wolf biologist specialist, you know, when they're tied to the den, they're kind of really tied to that spot. So if they had a wildfire that struck and came through where there's a den, might be tough on those critters, but now they're fairly mobile and can follow. Yeah.
So we started calve August 15th.
Yeah.
And we're up at Stone Mountain, and Aldridge is up there, and so are Rossi's, and they're at IZ.
Yeah.
And so we made the difficult decision. We have friends in Prairie City who just started calving 2 weeks ago, and it is a freaking bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are hauling our cows very lightly in the cattle truck, and we're dedicating a pivot to our cows. Because with the cost of calves, we generally stay there till the 1st of November. That just gives you an idea, but we talked about it and just decided the best thing for us to do is to get out. So they're there, and
Yeah.
Crook County is right there, so it's just, and I hate to do it. And how do you measure that impact? How do you measure that now I don't have pasture for August, September, October, November? So there's an impact there, but we talked it up, it took quite a decision, and then we just decided.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna see it be
Yeah.
like that.
So educate me, when you moved them, what area did you move
I
them
brought
to?
them back down into the town of Paulina to one of my pits. To where they're buying more I mean, we're not really civilization, but it's close to that. Cause it's very hard with the timber up there. Even though you're down in the meadows, it's hard. Cows like to go off by themselves. I mean, you have a pretty good handle on it, and when I was up there, I used to be there every day. I had a really good mortality or whatever, vitality, whatever you wanna call it. But now we have something thrown in the batch that is,
So you're gonna be feeding them as opposed
no,
to
they're
them?
on a pivot. I'm not gonna be hanging it. So I'm gonna lose the revenue of that pivot for hay. And I'm gonna lose that lease up there, but we just decided it was worth it.
Sure.
And what tipped my hand was the operator in Prairie City that talked to us and said, because it's a scent, and it's gonna go on in there into that valley, into that meadow, and it is what it is.
So basically, it's like a 40-mile move,
Okay,
that they had to move the cat back.
there's a pretty
And
good
because
cost
they're
there.
heavy with calf, we're not packing we're just kind of gathering and putting a few on the truck and bringing them home. We're not doing like we normally would do. Cause they're heavy with calf.
Interesting, thank you.
But I would document that, Susie. I mean, that's definitely a change in your practice, and I mean, that's kind of what we tell people is to document what you do for quote unquote non-lethal, you know, and so,
And Trevor's seen, I mean, they're there,
yeah.
you know, and so now you have, you know, and they have bigger calves. The spring calvers around us have bigger calves. But now you have a baby calf or a cow down calving. It's just not worth it. You know, I just told Joe, it's just not worth it. Let's bring them.
And then Susie, that's something that people could put in for next spring.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, but it's a reality, you know, of what you have to, and I think McCormick's asked for a pin for calving heifers, you know, it's the same idea. You don't want your animals in a pen because of disease. You know, the more you confine your animals, the more you have a presence of disease, and you can have the umbilical cord infected, or you can go on and on. But you're limited because you also don't have, you know, you can't look at them. In my pivot, I can look at them and I can identify, and I have pivot fence around, which is not keep coyotes out, so it's not gonna keep the wolves out, but it's just a little more control.
Sure.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
And Suzie, are you having an increase in shipments now, or in your shipping loads because you're having to do more transporting because you have smaller
Well,
cows?
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
so it's an increase in
Sure,
cost
yeah,
there.
yeah, it's total cost, but I just sold 8-weight steers for $4 a pound.
That's fair.
So you let them die up there, or you know what I mean? It's a real this. And the thing is I think once that smell comes, and will they just kill one? Or will they joy kill? Because we all know they joy kill at times. You know, I don't know. I'm just saying that's a decision. It was a big decision for us to do. But that's what we decided to do. And it's a severe impact on the operation.
So sometimes they kill them and leave them.
They just kill for sport.
Yeah.
It's called sport. It's like a cat with a mouse. Sometimes the cat kills the mouse and eats the mouse. Sometimes the cat just kills for the pleasure of killing.
Or
Which-
name them.
Or the other thing is, we also have cats, so we won't get into that. We got too many predators.
I've heard it's also the sound
Oh, sure.
of the bawling calves. It's not just the smell.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
They know exactly where to go and what pins to head to.
Sure.
So,
We also have a poodad up there, and we also have a male buffalo.
oh,
That we have no idea where they came from.
I think I saw a picture of that online.
Yes, yeah, so we're just collecting things left and right, Greg, maybe we'll have a zoo pretty soon.
There's no pigs. We don't need wild boars.
No, did you see though that they just appropriated, what was it, 35 million to killing out feral pigs in tech, yeah.
Hmm,
I just came across on a USDA thing,
yeah,
yeah. Which it seems like a lot of money to get rid of pigs.
yeah.
Yeah, which I found interesting.
I guess We'll move on to the committee updates. Okay. So we'll start off with the depredations. We now have the funds to allocate for the depredations from last year, which they pull up the numbers. So we requested for depredation funds $26,543.75. The depredation funds that we received from the state is $14,803.69. So we're gonna have to tinker around the amounts from what we thought we could pay to what we can actually pay out. So let's go over the numbers. We have
You decides what amount you actually get, even though you requested a certain amount.
Oregon Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
Yeah, committee.
And Sunny Summers is who I work with to local funds. So we'll start with
Now, was that including the Crook County funds that you mentioned in that email?
so yes, the 14,000 is the funds that we are receiving from the county. So the ODA, the state gives the ODA, the Department of Agriculture. They then send it here to the county. The commissioners will do an approval or take it to one of the commission meetings. They'll make a decision on it, which they approved. And so this is the funds we've received. But we've also received mitigation funds too. So that's not all the money.
So that's what made the difference from the 14 to the 26.
Yeah, so we wanted 26 from the math we did with the numbers on the depredation. So it's $26,543.75. That's what we requested.
But out of every dollar that has been allocated for the wolf fund, a dollar of it has to go to mitigation and a dollar of it has to go for, what did you just call it?
Depredation.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's why you're looking at, so that's why he says he's not, 14,000 isn't the total sum. But it's what you gotta go out of the 23 from Stafford's and all of those, what they were asked for.
So the amount that was, let's see, so the McCormick's, right, they had the 500-pound heifer for $2,887.50. That's the amount that we thought was appropriate. It was a 2.5 multiplier on it. So we needed to decide on how we're going to adjust what we thought we were gonna be paying them with the multiplier to what we can pay them. So McCormick's at that price. The Staffords had their 400-pound registered heifer, and we put the market value on that at 6,000. And then the
Stafford, you put 6,000?
was
Didn't Hatfield have something in there?
yes, Hatfields have 2 depredations. They have these 350-pound steer at $2,625, and that's a 2x multiplier. And then they have a 500-pound heifer, which they requested amount was $6,031.25. That was the 2x multiplier. So in turn, actually, I think the one mistake I made with Stafford's was the reported fair market value was 6,000, but after discussing, we thought the 15,000 was a 2.5 multiplier for it. So that was where the big chunk of the change was from. Does anybody need any numbers repeated? Would like to see the paper?
Well, the way it looks to me is if you leave the multiplier off that, you don't quite have enough money to cover what we figured the value of those animals were.
That's correct. So right now, if we were to divide it evenly, the price per head for all 4 of them, you'd approximately give them, what Be 3,500 piece. Yeah, 35 times what, 4 is about 14,000.
But my question on that is, so if McCormick is saying theirs is worth 2,700, what was the multiplier on McCormick? And then Hatfield gave a 2,600, what was the multiplier on those? Because giving 3,500, then you're kind of accept, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, and I'm not saying that's the way we want to go.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what was your
So
multiplier?
McCormick's, we gave them a 2.5x multiplier. And that's what. Yep, that's what gave them the
And then
2,800.
what about Hatfield? The 2,600 one was probably 2.5 too, wasn't it?
It was a 2x on the 350-pound steer,
Which was the 2,600.
2,600, and then the 2.5x multiplier was the 500-pound heifer. And then we got the Staffords.
Which, yeah,
Yeah, which is,
and what was the choice? So the Stafford was worth $6,000, but then what did we ask for it?
15,000. We gave it about 2.5. That's what a little more.
Ours?
Did you just want to?
No,
Oh, I got
Money that you receive versus. What that percentage, if each person,
You got it.
that percentage of what
I'm wondering, but-
and what they ask for, is that, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Because it's like about 50, a little less than 50. And a little more than 50%, so,
I'm wondering. If we
and
could
then
do
if
that.
you just do like staffers get 50% of what they ask for, McCormick get 50% of what they.
Yeah, and that-
Supplement.
And that's very similar of, well, actually, it's a little different, like ODA, when they broke it down. It was everybody's requested funds, and they just kind of did an even number on the drop of percentage across the whole board. And so,
Do you
yeah,
happen to know what their percentage was? Did Sonny tell you?
he did, and then the email. I
Lost it.
I was only allowed to view it for like 40 minutes. One of those documents.
Oh, I see.
Thanks.
Well, here,
This is like the CIA or what here?
so the total county paid out. Let's see, we wanting for mitigation or depredation? What funds are you wanting?
We're on depredation
We're on
right now, so let's just figure them out.
Depredation requested was 1.8 million, 1,856,420.47. That's what was prevention was requested. Oh, sorry, that's prevention. Sorry, depredation. I'm sorry about that. It was $1,304,471.25. Depredation paid was $577,702.50. So it was more than half.
And it's, yeah, it's a little bit above
Like
50%.
55%,
Yeah, like
yeah.
55, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good way to do it, is to just do it in a percentage. And then you're fair to everybody, except if you're worried, Dave, about doing a bonus to registered, you could up your percentage on the registered and then just do the rest on the percentage because they're commercial.
Well, I think in this situation where there's not enough money to cover the cost of those animals, probably just pull a little bit off everybody and call it good.
Just take a straight percentage cut until we reach our funding. Is that what you're saying?
I'm what it looks like to
That way
me.
our decision for 2.5 still stands. It just has to be adjusted for what we have.
Mhm.
Well, if the state took 55%,
Yeah.
approximately, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's exactly right, then we're just mimicking what the state has
Which,
called fair, which isn't fair, but it's what.
Cause we need to pay it out, so there's no use having any left.
right, and I did the math, divided, so it is 55.8% is right where it
Good
says.
job, Larry.
Thank you. So. Do we just go 55.8% across the board on everything, on what the requested value was, or the requested amount we all approved on?
Mathematically works.
So does that work out to the amount we have to do? Yeah,
It should, I'll break them down real quick.
okay. That would-
Well, he's obviously a math whiz because he came up with 55.8%. I'm impressed. I'm not very good at percentages.
Yeah, economics,
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm complimenting you here.
I appreciate it. Let's see if I can break it down each one. So if we did 55.8%, McCormick's would receive $1,611 and roughly 23 cents. Stafford's would receive $8,370. Hatfield's 350-pound steer would be $1,464.75. And the 500-pound heifer of Hatfield would be $3,365.44. Thought up, we should be,
The grand total. That way you justify it, because you can say we've done exactly what the state allocated for us. We didn't do any more, we didn't do any less.
We did all we could do.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, we did all we could do, but also we followed what the state rule council. And if anyone is upset, I mean, which obviously it's a bad subject, but that's, like you say, Dave, that's all we can do.
You can't give money that's not there.
No,
Right, like-
and I
We
know-
can, but they
I know the
might
whole-
not like it.
I know the-
Yeah, that's what
I know the hope of the transient tax is that, but it's not gonna be enough. It's, you're gonna be in the same situation.
Yeah.
Again,
So are the multipliers, I'm just curious, because I've not been here before, right? So is that for potential, what they could have potentially
Yes.
brought, is that the multiplier number?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
and then it was up to the committee to decide what we found to be the acceptable multiplier for the situation.
That's like bringing
And
stock in the higher
yes.
multiplier.
and some committees.
Did that work out
Hunter
about
did-
right?
About $7.73 off.
Oh,
So we're high $7.73. I can evenly distribute that again through the floor, or we can
Whatever.
just keep breaking it down.
In the pool.
But what Hunter looked into though is I was really worried that if you gave a really erroneously high number, that how did it make us look? But what Hunter looked at, and he did very well on it, when you looked at other counties, they actually jacked it up even more. Which I think reasonably, when we go to our producers, we have a more reasonable justification of the way we looked, but yeah,
Right. That makes
some of the
sense.
counties really.
Went high.
And I wanted to try to meet up with a lot of the counties and try to come up with a plan together, but that didn't work.
the sad part about it is we're gonna end up with more people wanting money and less money to give them next year.
Yeah, that's just, there's some areas that are being heavily affected and they feel for it.
Lola had 90 deputies.
Unfortunately, the lack of uniformity on the state is gonna create friction between
Oh,
the
Wallowa
counties.
County,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm seeing it.
I was like,
Which is why I kind of, I know you and I don't necessarily see eye to eye on that, but I wish the state would say that this is what we pay across the county and get rid of that multiplier or evenly distributed across everybody.
No, I agree with you. I think it should be evenly distributed. It would be a lot easier and then the price, same with the price point. You pick a time of year or 3 data points throughout the year and go off
they
that.
might.
Yeah, it would simplify it and it would definitely take a lot of friction
Mhm.
that's gonna arise between the counties because of this.
I definitely.
It would mitigate that.
I was wanting to do that and it, apparently you tried it before, it didn't work out.
No, and
Yeah,
every time you corner them, they wanna throw it back at the counties and it's like, you're holding the purse strings and
that was my
like
response,
everybody else.
was it was on the counties. But I haven't reached out to every single county committee, which probably be the next step for me to do, to see if I can get them together and we do a big sit down and see if we can all come to an agreement.
What did Granite County do?
What, yeah, were they either they had high or they had low, I can't remember, you told me, and I can't remember.
I know they've been hit pretty hard for their.
Well, very city.
Prairie City, yeah,
You know.
exactly. Yeah.
So let's see, Grant County depredation requested was 77,400. Prevention requested was $250,000, but compared to other counties, the high ones would be Morrow County. The depredation requested was $330,800. Umatilla, $222,375. Malawa, $298,000.
Union,
How many did?
Union's 73,000.
that's all.
How many deprivations did Morrow County even have?
That is a number I do not have.
I think they had a lot. They had
Really?
that pack that was in the federally listed side of the state and they couldn't do anything with those wolves. And I think they
Wow.
did, yeah.
Huh. And Union County very nicely sent us 183, who was part of the kill order, but it's very nice to send her down to us. It's very kind.
So has there been any news on the delisting on this side of it, 395?
Didn't you say there was maybe a court hearing in October? Like a federal court?
I don't know when it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a little story. It passed the House and it's waiting for someone at the Senate to take it up.
Yeah.
So Senator Merkley asked, I went to White's thing, but I went to Senator Merkley's and I was his master of ceremony and we had to get together a little tea with him before. And I said to him, I said, you know, I came to Washington DC and I said the same thing. Let Oregon take control of our wolves. Take this arbitrary line off of 395 and let us decide our fate. Believe in Oregon Fish and Wildlife. And he looked at me and he said, I would vote right now today for Oregon, but in Wisconsin, they're gonna kill 60 wolves as soon as we pass this. And I said, well, we're not in Wisconsin, we're here. What kind of a attitude is that for an Oregon senator to tell you to your face that he's worried about Wisconsin? I can't worry about Wisconsin.
No.
And that's our problem is I can't believe that in Northern California, we cannot get a senator with the massacre that's going on down there to pick this up and take it to the Senate. It's just a crime.
Yeah, Berkeley and Wyden are bad news for us.
But that was his exact answer to me, Dave.
That doesn't surprise me though, Susie.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
think about Oregon, who voted you in?
So they are federally delisted, correct? Or I was supposed to meet with OCA this week and I didn't get to because of the fire. so-
Okay, well, maybe, Greg, do you wanna explain this, maybe?
Yeah, they're not federally delisted in part of Oregon, so like what Susie says is 395 from Pendleton down. And then it jogs through John Day and
Right.
down south and then it
Lakeview.
jogs, yeah.
Lakeview.
So, yeah, everything west of that, it's federally listed, so state, like we assist in the program, we do depredation investigations. We help producers, but we don't have management authority. Everything east of the line, we have a wolf plan, and depending on the different phase, we have phase 1, 2, 3, and I can share with you our wolf plan, but yeah, depending on what phase we're in, then we have management authority that allows us to have different, if you have wolves in conflict, it allows us more flexibility. So, yeah.
You gotta have the damage before you can fix the problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it gives us, at least as a state,
Right.
our ability and we
Yeah.
can go to ODF and W and make a lobby, whereas now we're helpless.
You can't do anything.
I think the fact remains that they killed that many in Wisconsin. Canada would send them down, fill right back up.
The bottom line is care about us. That's my one.
I
Just
think you're
care
right
about
on.
us.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna tie this back into our funds real quick, kind of brings back. So from the numbers that I was gave all of you, you have to subtract $1.93. And then we're left over one extra penny, which we'll just pick out random.
Do you need a motion to approve that?
I do need a motion to approve the finances or the depredation funds to be distributed to the producers at the amount that we have come up with, which is 1,000. Well, actually, I gotta. There's not.
I make a motion that we disperse the funds that have been allowed are allocated to the producers that requested it.
As discussed.
As discussed.
We have a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Either way.
Okay, Linda seconds. Anybody opposed? Or I guess up for discussion? Anybody opposed? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Vote passes unanimously. I did forget to,
Yeah, I'm not voting, but it's okay, Hunter. I am just impressed how well you're doing these numbers. I think you are the permanent chairperson here because.
okay, I do want to move on to mitigation funds, which I know last year we were a little behind. Some shortages. We can do mitigation funds now and distribute. I don't know if we want to hold off and wait till a little bit later in the year. There's not really a pro to doing that.
How much do we have requested?
So the amount that we have requested. So the prevention requested was for county $97,750.
And how much did we get?
We have $37,741.93. So
We already have more asked than we have to give.
Yeah, we have.
yeah, so as a state, the prevention requested was 1.8 million, $856,420.47. The prevention paid out was $561,860. So it's significantly lower. We're talking about 28%, 27%.
Was there some deadlines to apply for that?
Yeah, the application was in the end of February. So us meeting we had in February was right before the application needed to be submitted. And then these numbers came out probably in April or May.
So since you had people that asked for an ATV and people asked for lights and people asked for different things, why are we judging what they need? It's not our ranch, it's not our need. Why don't, if they gave out whatever you said, 48%, why don't we use the same rationale? And then they can take that fund and they can decide what, if they need lights, then they can spend it for lights because they figure that's gonna, or maybe they don't want the lights and they want to put it towards, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Isn't that the fairest way to do it? Let's not try to judge and say, well, we'll take the ATV off, they don't need it. That isn't our place, I don't think. So what if we do that, whatever, I know, I don't think it was 48%, but whatever.
28.
I'm gonna pull up the exact number. I was just.
Was it 28? Oh, geez.
38, sorry.
38.
Okay, so
Yeah,
but in between, so what if we just do the exact same thing with mitigation and then it's up for them to use their dollars the way they need to, and maybe they can even get a grant or something.
So here's the caveat to that. Bonneview, Dow Ranch, it is up for sale. Lonnie Carter, who applied for the funds, is no longer working there.
Oh, he is?
Nope, he left a couple days ago. Just got off the phone with him.
Really?
He said, we talked and it's a walk with that,
So just
application.
take him off then the total.
Take off the 20,000 that we had allocated.
Then go add it to what we have back, so that changes our percentage.
It does change our percentage, so we'll get a bump for everybody else.
Wow, you left, huh?
Yep, this disagreement. He's doing well. He's living in La Pine.
We knew that was coming.
Yep. So if you guys, we can break down the numbers right now and
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
that's what we're here for.
I just think it
So
seems fair to let them make their decision.
I make a motion that we use the same percentage that the state gave us.
We can't do that because we have more funds now. So we'll have a left, we have,
See, we got extra.
Extra
from
20,000.
you pulling up.
Okay, but I was gonna factor that in, but,
okay,
without Bonneview
so you want an equal distribution
for the
of
people,
percentage.
people that applied for the funds with Bonneview's application being discarded.
Okay, so yeah, we'll equally. Yeah, we'll,
And just break that percentage down and you have it.
yeah, so
So,
right now, let's go through this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 applications for mitigation. McCormick's is 30,000. Stafford was 20,000. Aldridge was, so I'll start over. McCormick was 30,000.
Okay,
Stafford was 20,000. Aldridge was 17,500. Krebs was 10,250. And Bonneville was 20,000, which don't no longer need that. So we have,
so we add these up and then do the 38% of what that total is.
yes,
Basically, no, we take the money and just.
We take-
appropriate it, 38, yeah.
yeah.
You're the mathematician, I'm not gonna tell you.
So because now we'd be requesting
77,
77,750, and then we divide that by the 38% roughly. So that's what we can do. We did 77%, so 37, 34, 93 divided by 50. We now be at 48.5%. Roughly,
With the 20.
with the 20,000 removed from Bonneville. So we'll have a few little things to do, but that will be. That would put the McCormick's at $14,562. Stafford's, yep, about $9,708. Aldridge would be $8,494.50. Yep, Krebs would be pretty close.
I think that's a very fair way to do it.
Agreed. Krebs would be $4,975.35. And let's make sure those numbers are all correct.
You know, it'd be interesting to know. You take the loss of that animal off of your taxes, federal and state. But you pay back to the federal and state what they got from us. It becomes part of the income, so then what the difference is. How they win or lose.
Any way you look at it, they're still losing.
That's right.
There's a loss because when you go up, and this was one of the reasons we moved the cows. The cows, I have very general cows. And you go up and you're in Polaris with a dog and they see that dog and they are running for the hills. That's how you know, that is what you're getting. And that's also your preg rate. Were they pregnant and now they've sloughed a calf?
Yeah.
You may never know that. So the loss is tremendous on a lot of different levels, not just that calf laying there dead.
Exactly.
And that's what isn't being really compensated.
But when you file your taxes and you have a loss, you can claim that it was pregnant. And the full value at the time, right?
Well, it all depends when they come back on the audit, if they believe that story. That's the thing, you know.
There's a chance
The
that
auditors
you
are
get
smart.
red because of the stress too.
Could be they didn't because of the stress, yeah, no, that's a hard thing to say. I guess it would depend on, did you get a cattleman who's an auditor? Or did you get someone that lives in New York City?
Yeah.
Because it's proof, because they can say that you were doing fraud.
Right.
There's no
So
way.
after all the math, it's, you're off by $2.08, so we subtract 52 cents, so all four of them. So we're evenly
Good
distributed
job.
on this.
You are good. We
So
like it.
moved.
We like it.
So we got a motion to approve the mitigation funds.
Second.
You got a second? Up for discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Now we're going to go on to some new business. So I got as you know, Seth Crawford's not here right now, so I sent out a resignation letter from him. And Susie Hemrick, who's here today, will be taking over the commissioner seat. It's kind of we all agreed it was the best thing. And we're glad to have you
Well,
on.
I hope you do, Hunter, I hope you don't. Yes, but yes, thank you.
Do we need a motion?
I don't know, that's up to you guys.
Well, let's
So
make it an official, that way at least it's in the minutes is.
Yeah, we can make a motion, but I think because the commissioners appointed, we can still make a motion on it. So the motion is to appoint Susie Hemrick as the commissioner to the Crook County Wolf Committee.
So moved.
So moved. We have a second?
I,
David seconds. Up for discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Everybody
You
opposed?
can't vote no, and I don't hold it against you.
Okay. Well, congratulations, you're part of the committee now.
Hey, I'm not a grudge, I don't hold grudges.
And so we had, last time, we had two openings, right? As you know, we're missing two. We had, was that coexisting position and I believe a business rep position. We only received one applicant. I don't know if you guys had time to see on the email, the application that we had.
I didn't see it, but
I have a piece of paper right here. You guys are more than welcome to read the application. Two ideas on what we can do. Obviously, we need to open up the application system again. The person who applies for coexisting, we can either vote her on now, or we open the application process again and do all the votes together, or bring on the other two to fill both applications.
Well, I think we should open it again.
Yeah.
So that we have more than one person to consider.
So if you'd like, we can, I can hold off, give you guys time to read the application again, and we can push to the next date and vote on application side.
And I think the thing that concerns me, if we have only one,
She can apply for coexisting or the business rep.
Your business would be granted, would that still be okay?
I had a conversation with Sunny, and it's up to the committee to decide.
I'm assuming that isn't her application.
That is not, that is the only application we received.
Okay, I will.
my thought is if we decided we wanted to vote on her or vote the position. And she's the only one that applied, there's no way we could do anything but say yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I posted on Facebook, but I feel like maybe due to the time, you know, summer's a very busy time. Maybe if we post again for both applications and just see what else we have. Don't get me wrong, I believe it's qualified. I just think, maybe the word didn't get out there now.
trying to get a bigger pool.
Get a bigger pool.
Well, you've done the biggest business in that you've distributed the funds now,
Mhm.
and that's the big business, so I think that waiting is not gonna harm in any way, and then if we do get more applications, that would be great.
There was
Right.
something on there that bothered me, in her thoughts. And she's saying that it's simply a matter of education.
Before we get into that, let's decide whether we want to vote on this applicant or if we want to wait to another date. So let's have
I
a,
make a motion that we wait until we are able to open it up
open up
again,
again.
take more application.
Do you have a second?
I'd second that motion.
Up for discussion?
I think that's proven.
I think it's very,
Good.
very good, very
I'm
good.
fine with that. All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Anybody opposed? No, motion passes.
I think it's
Wonder if we could
irrelevant.
get it on even stock growers, little thing that goes through.
I think so. I didn't put on stock growers, but that's a good idea. I should put it on there.
And I wonder if we posted it at the livestock auction there. Is there a bulletin board or anything there, Julie?
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a Facebook page and everything.
Yeah.
Probably get hooked up.
I think we need to Yeah, Joe, that'd be good. I just don't want people to feel left out of the position, and they get to apply and or then I just don't think that they got it.
But
No, I think you're doing the right thing.
we could put that out there.
Okay, and I don't think I have anything else on the agenda. Anybody wants to discuss? Okay,
So the cards for the dump is gonna be at the
yes,
OSU extension office.
so yeah, so on the end there, Scott, those are some drafts I did on the waiver fee for the dump.
We'll just hand these out as people ask for them.
So I can get these nicer, I'll cut them out, I'll get the Xerox,
Oh, it's okay, Hunter, we can handle that.
you can handle that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is, I think, and we should discuss this actually. Do we probably don't wanna have the ranch and the address on there. I don't know, this is what we did before, but at least, come up with some drafts. We added numbers to them. I really like Greg's idea about that, so we can keep a log and put the card for which ranch, and then the private information can go with that number. I think just having the ranch name or the property owner's name is fine, but probably don't need an address on there. Unless it's trying to be returned,
You're less likely to run into issues with divulging somebody's personal information.
I think you're right on, Hunter.
okay.
So you want us to make more of these, just add and keep going higher in numbers?
Yes,
Okay, then do you want us to keep track of anything? Or just fill, when they come in, we just fill this out and hand it to them and we don't keep any additional records?
Yeah, I thought we'd keep in the record at least the ranch owner's
Okay.
name and address,
So
and
that's
then, and then put the number down, and then we would have record of it that we could share.
Okay,
So we knew annually how many people came and got a record, and they're not gonna take a record at the dump, maybe they will, I don't know if they're gonna.
I doubt it.
Yeah, so they're probably not. gonna
They do they write down
They give
the
you a
animal,
receipt, yeah.
so they know what they're taking into the dump.
yeah.
Because I took several calves up there to the dump and said that, charged them to the county.
I think I'm with,
Jackie
Yeah.
does keep somewhat of a track, but I'm not saying she do a ranch and maybe, I think it would be good, Scott, that we know
She
the
does.
ranch. And what they're taking
and how many,
and how many.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you'd like to hope that someone wouldn't be abusing it, but,
and even time of year too would be kind of a nice,
Yeah.
just idea of
and then that way too for Greg, you get some kind of an idea too.
yeah, I think it's good,
It would be good
it's
for-
not
or,
lethal,
you know,
right, yeah,
Whoever-
Yeah.
normally I'd say we have this done in a couple of days, but it's fair week. So it's
Yeah.
okay if we have another week or two after that.
You know what, we're telling all wolves and anything, you cannot die during a fair week.
We're taking off, Barry.
Yes, and after August 9th, life can resume. We're gonna make that a county ordinance,
Okay.
how's that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I didn't get these uploaded into the agenda or minutes, and I just wanted to kind of go through the.
Okay,
Here,
we'll
get that
get
updated.
on it as.
But I think we agree on the numbers, having a number on there and go with the number system.
And I was saying, we'll, even if someone came in fair week, we could give them something. But as far as getting a bunch of numbers and more sheets made and all that, that would be the part that would be over.
Sure. So we'll do a number, we'll remove the address to it, and then keep them same size. I think we get wallet size.
And I think that they can either put their name or their ranch, whichever they wanna put on them.
Agreed.
So once again, I'm sure this is a naive question, but if they have a dead animal, why would they not just take their tractor and bury it? Why would you
No.
drag it to the dump?
Not everybody has a tractor, and winter time can also be a difficult time to be able to break ground. And sometimes it's in a location where it just isn't feasible to
Dig a hole.
dig a
Can't dig a
hole.
hole.
Yeah,
You just
Yeah,
can't dig a
especially in the
hole.
winter. And let's give you an example, Linda. So I have a friend that has a ranch up on Crook and Grant County, and Greg can testify to this. And they had a cow die. They took the backhoe and they dug a deep hole and they buried it. They ran over it a few times. And then they were doing cattle and I thought, oh, look at that wolf over there. He's just sitting over there watching us. And then the next day they went and that wolf is still there in that same spot. When the third day when the wolf was there, went and looked, he had dug up, so. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
More in.
Well, and some of this is bone pile removal, so like old chalky bones too, like we're encouraging ranchers to clean those up because for what, they attract wolves and it just cleaning that up just make sure that animal's not on your ground and it's just another non-lethal non-lethal deterrent to allow that animal to just keep moving on and not wanting to camp out and look over and see your cow.
Decided that he.
Yeah.
Decided to dig, he was kind of an industrious wolf.
Yeah, that was interesting, cause yeah, they dug a deep hole and, yeah.
So we buried a cow one time out in the pivot, and I didn't bury it where I wanted it, but where the guy, and so I was riding by on the horse and there was a hole. And I looked down there and there was a badger looking out the rib cage of the cow, so every so often they do like to dig them right back up, I'll never forget, I should have went and got my camera and taken a picture of it.
Well, I think that's everything else for discussion.
Perfect, I'm on my way to Plina.
So let's make we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved.
One
Second,
second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The meeting has been adjourned at 5:02. Thank you, everybody, for coming down.
Evidently, you have a list.